What's up, people? Just doing a quick video here. This is my latest pickup. It is a William Henry B12 Atlas. I'm going to show the packaging for this knife. Honestly, packaging doesn't really affect any kind of knife buying choice for me whatsoever. And it basically means nothing, but this is honestly the nicest packaging I've ever got a knife in. It comes in a cardboard box. Inside that cardboard box, you got a nice, like, wooden box. It has a little button you have to press to open it up. The knife came sitting on this little leather shelf. Under it is the certificate of authenticity and warranty card and whatnot. But just very nice little packaging. Doesn't mean much to me. I really just care about the knife, but like I said, it's a little bit out of the ordinary, so I figured to show it. But this is the William Henry B12. Specs on this knife: it is 7 inches overall length with a blade length of 3 inches. It's a full titanium button lock. It's got a hand rub, hand ground ZDP 189 laminated blade. Blade stock is about 100 thou thick. The thickness of the handles is about, for my calipers, it was like 0.35 or 0.38 or something. Very slim knife. Comes with a blue titanium spring clip. It's obviously a button lock, like I said. Lockup on this knife is solid. I mean, it's extremely solid. I was actually really impressed with this knife, just how solid it was for how such a small, slender little knife it is. This knife only weighs in at 2 ounces. Blade centering is spot on. Came dead centered. So, do a couple close-ups here. There's the hand rubbed ZDP 189 blade, spear point blade with a swedge on top. You can see there the blade is engraved with the William Henry logo, also the blade steel and the Rockwell hardness of 67, and the serial number. The thumb stud and the button lock both have topaz inlaid into them. The pivot button for the button lock and the standoffs are all polished. You have, I believe it's titanium screws in this because of their anodized blue as well. Thumb stud's only on one side. See the button lock there. Flow through construction. The inside is also anodized blue. I won't be able to get it to pick up on this camera, but as well as the milling in the handle. This is one of the few flaws I can find with this knife, is the anodization inside the milling on this side is a little bit spotty. It's not bad or anything like that, but there's a couple spots you can kind of see, like down there. It's a little bit spotty. Beyond that, the only other flaw I can find is this is a hand ground blade and the swedge is not perfectly even. It's not way off or anything like that. You also can't tell by looking at it on the side, but up top you can notice it just a little bit off. But like I said, it is a hand ground blade. That's no big deal. The tolerances and fit and finish of this knife are excellent. Like I said, it's totally solid. It's just tight, perfectly centered. Action is nice and smooth. I've opened this a bunch of times. I will say this, the button lock had to take a little bit of a break-in period. It was like almost like it would stick right there. Just kind of that piece in the back there, if this will zoom in. On the button lock there, right where the blade meets the button lock, it kind of like wasn't perfectly worn in yet, so it was like a little bit hard to, you know, get the knife open. And it wasn't anything like you had a wrench on it, just it'd be like, you know, just wasn't smooth as it is now. And this is after a day of operation, and there's no pressure getting it open, just wearing it in a little bit. Other than that, the ergonomics, this knife is comfortable. You kind of choke up in that forward choil. It's definitely, for being how slim it is, it locks up nice in your hand, that choil position. You can grip it a little bit back, it's still comfortable. Like I said, extremely lightweight, low profile in the pocket. I'm really digging everything about this knife, to be honest. I'd call this an EDC knife, really. I mean, you could say it's more of a gentleman's EDC, but for my EDC tasks, I mean, this could be an everyday user. It's solidly constructed, decent blade length, you know, it's on the smaller side. But I mean, most of the shit I do is cut up boxes or, you know, zip ties here and there. I wouldn't, you know, if you're in the construction field, I wouldn't call this an EDC knife for you. It'd be more the dressy carry, but price range on this is about $450. It's kind of right up there with the Chris Reeve range. And honestly, the quality's there. I mean, this over a small Sebenza, I'll be honest, I'd take this. It's got, a little bit, of lack of better words, a little bit of bling to it. Nice hand rub satin blade with ZDP 189. Same solid type lockup. It's just a great little knife. This is their kind of mid-range knife. They do have a lower end knife that is like D2 aluminum handles, button locked, and they have like inlays on it. And that's their cheapest. This is like the next up where you get into the ZDP blades. And they do this basically in this type of plain Jane type handle and blade and pretty much all their models. And then up from there it upgrades to like you can get little upgrades to just like a carbon fiber inlay, a little dressier, all the way up to the really fancy jewelry type stuff with like engraved silver, mother of pearl. It gets pretty crazy. Their Damascus blades are pretty wild. So honestly, this knife has made me want one of the more expensive ones, and eventually I probably will own a nicer model, a nicer version of this model. But overall, I really like the knife. The price range, it's high, but the quality is there. And like I said, it's just a thin, light, great little slicer, nice EDC. And if you want to say more like gentleman's EDC, whatever. But I have seen a video on YouTube of the Russian guy that does like all kinds of testing on knives. It's like Vinal or something like that. He did a couple cut tests with the same type of knife. It was a little upgraded from this, same blade, steel, and same blade, and it looked like it held up very well. I can't understand a word he's saying. Obviously, I'm not Russian. I don't know. But it looked like it held up well. And the last detail of this knife, they do have the number of the run on the top of the handle. This one is 336 out of 888. I'm pretty sure all William Henry knives are pretty much limited run. The EDC ones, the smaller ones, they're numbered too, so I don't know if they're limited. The cheaper ones, I think they are. I'm not positive, but they come out with same basic models, just different finishes, and they'll do like a run of like 10 or 20 on this way. These are the plain Jane ones. There's obviously more of them, but other than that, like I said, I'm really impressed. I really dig this knife. I've already used it a little bit, not too much, just cut up a little bit of cardboard. Carried it around for a day, and it is a nice little knife. I really like it. And that's about it, people. I'm out.